Have you ever wanted to download your collectible tokens easily and buy them without clicking the plus button 100 times? Today, I'm going to be coding live, so you can join me as I add the download buttons for any on-chain music, as well as a manual field to input the quantity into the platform that we built for music. Let's get coding. I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and we'll start by sharing what it looks like to purchase right now. When you click the collect button, it opens a pop-up. You can't change this number at all. You can only click the plus button or the minus button. When you collect, you get your signature like normal. Now I can purchase. Once I purchase, we get hopefully a success. Here's our success, and there's our success. First step that we want to do is add a download button here so that when you buy, you can then download the song that you just bought. Then on the song page, we want to add a little download button here so that if you ever come back to this page and you've already collected it, you can come back and download. And then third, I want to update this input field so that I can manually type in a number so that for larger quantities, I don't have to just click the plus button all the time. Let's get started implementing the code. Right over here, I've already got my code base running. We just tested it. And so the first, I've already added in my tickets as well. The P1 for adding the download button onto the pop-up, the P1 for adding the download button onto the song page, and then adding the manual input for the collect quantity. So all that I need to do, I've got a new chat in agent mode, selecting the roadmap file. Your scratchpad for step 63. All I do is I tell it to update its scratchpad for the step that I'm on, and it should update its scratchpad and then go ahead and implement those changes. Oh, this is so funny. I've got squirrels and chipmunks on my TV, and right now one of my cats is standing on two legs to try to get them. That's the cutest thing. Oh, cat TV. If you have cats and you haven't heard about it, you can just find the live channels where they just stream chipmunks and animals, and my cats are loving it. They're glued to the TV right now. The only thing I gotta watch out for is them diving headfirst at the TV. Okay, so inside of our scratchpad, the AI has already added the steps. It's gonna identify the modal, understand the layout, implement the button, ensure the proper order, and then test the functionality. Looks like it just finished its research. It already knows that there is the success modal. I don't know if mint claim modal is correct. I think it's mint collect modal. But no, mint collect modal is before, not after. Update the scratchpad. Let's try to catch up to where it's at. Based on my analysis, I've identified that. Great. Okay, so it looks like it just stopped at updating its scratchpad. Let's see if it works. Let's let it keep going. I'm just gonna say, please proceed. Just keep going. No notes so far. It's gonna start by implementing. Examine the component. Found that contracts have a song URL property that can be used for downloading the audio file. Let's also look at the existing download button implementation. Now let's look at the mint claimed modal component to understand how to add the download button. Let's also check if we want to import any additional components for the download button. Now that I have all the information I needed, let's modify the mint claimed modal to add the download button. The mint claim modal is not super long. It's got a view rewards button that we'll try to remove. I don't like having commented code inside of components. Let's see what it does. Okay. I'm already not liking how much code it added. It removed the unused code, so it already knew to do that. Stake to earn was added, which we didn't ask it to, and we got a download. Oh, stake to earn was already there. Okay. What's this long function that we've got here? So we're now getting contract data. I don't know why we need contract data. I mean, contract data should be contained within contract, right? Let's handle download. We fetch the URL, we get a blob, and then we download. Let's accept this and try seeing if it works. Before I try judging the code, let's just try testing it. So we've implemented it. Let's refresh the page just to make sure I have the latest version of the changes. Solana, I love you so much. I'm glad you're liking this channel. Where's your sister? Is she watching from afar? While I'm waiting, I'm going to try pulling from main to see if there's changes that I am missing locally after my last merge for today. I think I've already pulled. Okay, it looks like the page should be loaded, at least on the server side. Okay, we now see the page load. I'm going to try to collect this. Click the collect button. Weird that it's saying sign in your wallet. There we go. That's what we should be expecting. All right. Click the collect button. Now it opens. The question is, after we sign, are we going to see a download button in that success modal? MetaMask is opening. Click the confirm button. I'm not seeing the new button there. A download button. Image. I've told it that there was no download button. Let's see if it updates its Scratch. I didn't specify to update its Scratchpad, so let's just see what it tries to update. Join Discord, claim reward. Yeah, it's updating one where there's a stake to earn, which is a different. Okay, it wants to go through sequential thinking. It's calling some of its MCP tools. Letting it go through its sequential thinking. I'm just trying to be active because this tool always needs me to confirm each step of its thinking. There's usually 5 steps, and I don't want it to slow down because I'm not paying attention. Mint confirm modal sounds right. I'm going to undo. I'll wait to undo these changes until we get it right. I can see the modal in the images from the mint confirm modal, not the mint claim modal that we modified. Let me look at the complete mint confirm modal to understand its structure. That sounds correct. Let's discard these changes. Looks like it's going straight into the modal to try to make the updates. How long is this modal? This modal is super long, multiple hundreds of lines of code. So I think I'm going to try to split this out into smaller changes. At a minimum, I'm going to want to download. What? Handle download. It's doing the download function. I'll move that into a lib. And then we've got a download button with the download. Okay, it's using the download icon and the download button. Looks good. Let's accept this. Let's see if it adds it without me having to go through another purchase. There we go. Now we see a download button. I don't see the error it said that was going to be here, so I'll probably remove that error. Okay, it's back. Because I don't see an error in here. An arrow. I'm sorry. Excel. Like, I don't see this download button that it's trying to import. What props does it have? I don't want to spend much time because it wasn't part of the designs given to me. Download SVG. It takes a size. Let's download props. Responsive size is optional. So let's just make it responsive. So if we remove this, it should do its thing. But I was expecting to see a button there, a little download icon, and I do not. So let's just delete it so that we don't spend too much time on it. Let's delete the import of the download icon. Let's save it. Let's see if the button works. If I click it, I just got something downloaded. Let me try to hear it. Okay. We got a WAV file. What happens when I click play on it? Where's the folder? I think we're opening up Apple Music Player right now. It's Rainbow Wheel of Death. I just want to hear the song. Let me try playing it. I was just able to download the song. So that's all it took. Let's push these changes and then we'll start refining them to not continue to bloat the component that we're modifying. So we'll add the changes, commit them, and let's look at it from our pull request just to have a little bit different perspective on the overall architecture. So we'll go into GitHub. I'm going to crash my I don't want to crash my server because it's going to take a long time for it to get up and running again. Go back to the main GitHub for this project where we should be prompted to open up a new pull request. Automatically prompts me to open a pull request. I follow the prompts. We create the pull request. I'm going to go ahead and share this inside of my Slack channel. Hashtag CooperX to name the project that it's associated with. On a new line, paste the link for the pull request. Then I'll go in and copy the ticket title, paste in the ticket title, add the word ticket, copy the link to the ticket, double click on the word ticket, paste it so that we hyperlink it, send that message off so that we are now officially in review for our first task of the day. 15 minutes in, we're in review. Ticket status is automatically getting updated. It should be deploying right now, but I don't think it'll be live for us. Go back to the deployments in our Vercel app to see what the status is of the latest deployment. All right. It's deploying. Looks like we already have a deployment though, so we can at least start opening it up, getting our wallet connected, prepare for the full test. But I don't know that we need to test yet because I still want to make changes to the code. So let's focus on the code changes. This handle download, I would like to move to a different function or a different file, but let's focus on the button. I want to make the button its own component. Yeah, let's make this button its own component. So let's go back to the code. I can put an X in here because really it's done. I'm now in cleanup. Right click on the component, close others so that I get rid of all the stuff I'm working on and keep my environment clean, my workspace clean. And now I'm looking for the download button. There should be a button somewhere. I don't know what I just did. Command F, download. There's no down button here. I'm looking for the mint confirm modal. I'm in the mint collect modal. Mint confirm modal. And inside of here, let's highlight the new download button and say, for this download button instead of expanding the existing modal. Just tell it to create a new component. See, I'm hoping that it pulls out both the button and the on click, which it should because it's going to need the on click. But the goal is to not expand this existing component. It's already 300 lines of code, so it's already a massive component. I at least don't want it to get any bigger. I'm fine with it staying the same size because I didn't write this mess. And as soon as I say I didn't write it, the Boy Scout motto, one of the sayings, comes into mind of leave it better than you found it when you camp. And even though I look at this and it looks like a mess, there's a part of me that wants to dive in and clean it up so that this code is better than I found it. And there's another part of me that says, I didn't write this mess. It's a Saturday and there's other things, other business requirements I need to ship. And so I want to focus on those. After talking it out a little bit, I think I want to clean up this component a little bit more because I do want to leave it better than I found it. And the to-do list will never be empty. I'll always have other things to do. And if I never prioritize taking a couple minutes to clean up, it's only going to get dirtier. And so now's the time. We've got a new button component, download button. It requires a contract to be passed. It has a handle download button to handle all that download logic. And then it's got even a downloading status while it's downloading, which I love. And now it's going to go and update the existing component to import the new download button. Okay, it looks like it's done. Download button. We should have just deleted all that copy code. Deleted all that copy code, deleted the new download button description and just added the import. Let's accept it. Let's also update the mint claimed modal. No. Don't update the mint claimed modal. Don't need to make any changes to the mint claimed modal. Let's come back over here. Let's see if the success pop-up is still up. I have a feeling it's closed by now. It's still there. Do we trust it though, that it's recompiled? I trust it. I downloaded a new file. Let's add it, push it, keep moving forward. No, stop. I don't want it to make those updates. I create a new download button component. Let's commit it. Let's push it. I'll add that to my list to clean up the Mint. Which one are we actually updating? Mint confirm modal. Close others. Clean up Mint confirm modal. 100 lines. I like to keep any components or code I write at 100 lines. If you have more than 100 lines, the likelihood is you're doing more than one thing. We follow the single responsibility principle in this household. So every file should do precisely one thing. And if something is doing more than one thing, it would get split into 2 unique files. Each would do one thing. All right. I've already pushed the changes. Let's go back to our pull request and see how it's changed. I'm hoping the code has simplified a little bit in terms of the delta on the second file. We've got our new component. We've got a function defined in there that maybe we could pull out to a different file, but for now we're under 100 lines of code, so I'm not going to overthink this. We'll accept that. And then over here, the only thing we're doing is we added in a download button. And it looks like we removed a margin top from the Vue Discord. And we also added in comments. I don't like that we added in comments. So let's remove those comments because these comments were not here before. Code should be self-documenting, meaning that they should not need comments. And so we can remove them. I remove dev comments, and that should be it. I'm happy with these changes. Happy with all these changes. We've got a download button now. Oh, I want it to say download song. So let's open up download button inside of the buttons. And instead of just download, let's have it say download song. Download song. And again, this download is not working, so we just remove the icon as a whole. Whoa. Okay. Remove only the curly braces. Now it says download song. Let's remove anything having to do with show icon. Are we using the show icon here? Contract, class name, contract, class name. I don't know what this intent is doing. So we'll remove show icon and intent and just leave it. We need a contract and a class name. Both of those should be sufficient. We'll delete this comment, not needed. This comment is helpful for cleanup. We could also just make a little function, but I don't want to overcomplicate this. Disabled. Okay, it looks like I've changed something such that it is no longer correct. Let's just fix it in chat. Where's intent coming from? I'm going to cancel it from running. This intent is what we passed in before. We're not passing in an intent. If it's disabled, intent. Let's keep it like that, I guess. Did that fix it? That looks like it fixed it. We have no more errors, so I'm going to say I fix build errors. The real change was changing the button name. Let's see how our latest pull request is looking. Refresh the code. So we were done at 15 minutes with the initial prototype. I've now been spending time cleaning up the code so that I feel happier with it. Clean. Looks good. Let's try testing this. Let's see how all of our deployments are going. Go back to see what the latest deployment looks like. Have we had any failures? 11 minutes seems inaccurate. It's probably still updating. Refresh this to get a later. There we go. Fixing build errors, removing dev comments. Part of me wants to cancel the current build so that we jump straight to the next build, but I think I will let it go and just kind of ignore it. Let's test it, and if it looks good, we'll ship it, because this is a pretty simple change. We'll change the URL to /33 below /13 de marzo, which is the test token that I have been playing with. We can come over here. I'll connect my wallet. I'm using Phantom for these tests. Let's find our password. Connect, then sign in. Once we connected and signed in, we should be able to collect. Let's try collecting and see if we see the download button after our collect. Looks like the page is refreshing on me, so I'm not going to complete this. So we're going to try to cancel this transaction if possible. Looks like I did. Click the connect button again, or I'm sorry, the collect button again. Let's try this one more time. Wallet opens, we get prompted to purchase. Click confirm. The question is, will we see a download button on the success screen? And does the download button work? Yep, and we even got that little loading state, which I love. The only thing we're missing is it saying download song, which should be live in another minute and a half. However, I'm not going to wait for that. We're just going to ship it now. So let me get these updates out. Test here. Boom. Copy the, I've already sent the link. So now we can send the screenshot. Send a screenshot. Download button shown on success. And now I can upload one of the versions of the song that was downloaded to show the song that was downloaded. Song downloaded. I hear the song. I'm going to ship it. So now if you buy a song, you'll have the ability to download it in the purchase flow. However, what's still missing is, okay, I purchased it. That's great that I can download it in the moment. How can I come back to download it later on? If I forgot to click the download button while I was purchasing it, I missed my opportunity. Do I have to go and buy it again in order to download? Nope. We're going to update it now so that you can download if you come back to a song as well. All right. Should have just updated it done. It did. We'll move this ticket down and we'll find the next one. The next one is the song page ticket. Copy the ticket branch, come back to cursor, check out to my new branch name, publish it straight up to get the first build out the door as fast as possible. And once that deployment is done, we will pull from main to get the latest changes from main. and then we'll directly push those so that our remote branch will then be updated with the latest changes. Let's go back to the roadmap. And now we'll tell it to update our Scratchpad to prepare for step 64. Looks good. Send that out. All right, we finished one task. We have another one already defined here, and there's one more I would like to create, and it'll be a stretch goal for today to see if we can get it. So I'll add P1 mint confirm modal single responsibility principal actual over 100 lines of code doing more than one thing. The mint confirm modal has less than 100 lines of code, period. Follow the single responsibility principle to create new components, libs, and hooks so that each of those follows the single responsibility principle, and the mint confirm modal is cleaner and easier to read and maintain. Yep, looks like it got it. I'm going to run this through chat to clean it up a little bit because I just word vomited, and we'll throw it to chat to get a little bit more objective read on it. And so I'm letting it code while I'm defining a new task, keep my vision up and out so that I can keep defining the roadmap, and then let the AI do all the implementation, the coding and the coding and the implementation, like I already said. Drink a little bit of water, make sure we're staying hydrated today. How you doing, Solana? You getting tired? Are you liking your new channel? You're very beautiful today. You've got a shine in your eye, like you're hunting. It seems like you're very focused. Find the ticket description. Find the ticket I've written so far. Copy the title of the ticket, paste it into chat. Copy the description of my ticket, paste it into chat, send it out. Copy the description, overwrite my existing description, and then save the card. Now we've got a new card. Let's check in with how our implementation is going. Step 64 is what we're on. Download button. Add a download button on the collectible page that allows users to own the collectible to download the track. I forgot to give it images. Has it already gone and added it? Would you like me to start step 64? No, please let me give you some additional context. Copy to clipboard. I got a specific message about where it should be, so let me try to find that message in our chat. Okay. I've attached, well, expand DL to say download button, copy to clipboard. I've button you should use. Hi, baby. You want to come up here? I know you always love to come up while I'm doing stuff. Start implementing this feature. Yep, let's do it. Copy exactly what it said. Tell it to keep going. Add a download button. It's going to go in and start identifying. Well, it seems like it's actually just going in to implement. Well, it's going to start by examining, looking at the copy button. Check if we have a download. Found the SVG for the download. Now let's look at how ownership is determined. That's a great question. Mints collected. Now we'll check the contract store, how ownership is tracked. Download button. And now I have a good understanding of the song page and how to implement the download component. Let's create a new component for the song page download button. I love that. Definitely love a new component. Okay, so now that we have this other component, we have now duplicated this download function twice. Don't like that. So what we're going to need to do is dry, don't repeat yourself, and abstract the logic into a standalone function. The page should simple update. It should just be adding in token ID. I don't know what changed there. And now we've added a download button, contract address, song name, song URL, song page download button. How is it checking if it's owned the collectible? Owned, get owned quantity by address. I don't know if this is actually reading the correct field, but the logic, I mean, the function name seems right. Let's see if we can see it by coming back to our page. I see a copy button without a download button. Let's try refreshing our screen. Also going to console log owned to see if it's getting that value correctly. And let's change up the text a little bit to make it easier to filter in my logs. We've saved the changes. Let's close everything except for this new button and inspect to see if I'm getting the logs. Go to the console tab. Instead of suites, we'll look up owned, which is the variable that we are interested in. Looks like it's finished compiling. Slow compiles. Owned is showing null currently, and I see a little lock icon, which is telling me it's not catching that I own this. So owned is not being read correctly. What we will want to do is owned states should read from the it should use @VM to read from the collectible API, ABI, I'm sorry, not API, balance, I think it's balance of, yeah. Using the balance of function. Scratchpad first. I like telling it to think first by updating its Scratchpad just to make sure that it is constantly checking in with its overall roadmap. I'll update the song page download button component to use VM to read from the collectible contract using the balance of function. Let me first update the Scratchpad to outline the approach. Download button, test, add a download button component, understand the requirements, create a new button, add the button to the page, ownership check, use that, download, next steps, test, update, VM, and the collect ABI instead of the contract store. It looks like it has just done that. Let's see how it did it. Use read contract, so it's using VM hook, which looks like it's not a thing. Use read contract is from @WAGMI. Let's just accept. I mean, I can do this myself. It gave me a basic structure, which is great. Let me now try to move use read contract here. Delete that line. Whoa. Yes, I want use read contract there, please. Use read contract enabled, object enabled does not exist. Okay. And so let's try console.log balance. And let's see if that works. Instead of as 0x address, this should be as address from VM. It might already be imported. It's not, so I'll add it real quick. Type address. And now we've got our address type. This looks good. Let's check out our logs. Instead of owned, it's now balance. And let's see if we have any logs for balance. We're not liking our address. Unsafe assignment of an error type value. Whereas contract address is being passed, contract address should always exist and it should be address. It should never be optional. It should be required. And then there's no need to cast this, right? Yeah. There we go. Less errors. Can we see balance anywhere? What's up? Why is it an empty page? Why is the page empty? Let's try refreshing. This happens to me every once in a while. My app just starts showing an empty page on localhost. And when that happens, I have to push and test on a preview deployment, which might be faster than this. This is taking quite a while to load. What don't you like? Error typed value. Why is this error typed? Oh, I'm importing it in the wrong place. Duh. Import address from VM. And I can label this as a type for a slightly cleaner import. That should have gotten rid of all of our errors. Okay, we're seeing balance undefined at a minimum. However, I do own some of this token, so we should be seeing a valid balance. Let's log some more of the info to figure out why. Let's console.log account. And let's preface everything with the component so that I can filter all logs by this component. I want to know the address. I also want to know the token ID, and I want to know the contract address. So let's get the contract address. And token ID. And we also most likely want chain, which we're not specifying here. So let's try. It looks like chain ID is the parameter, and the value is going to be. See, I don't like that we're passing a contract address. I want us to pass a whole contract. That way I can access things like the chain ID. So let's figure out what's being passed into the parent page. Parent page eventually gets a contract by slug, which returns a contract. And so I should be able to update this here instead of contract address, just to contract of type contract. And I think contract is our own type. API factory, get contract by slug, returns a contract response. Contract response is a contract, and contract coming from lib API types. So inside of here, we want contract to be coming from import contract from types. We'll use types for now. And this changes to contract. Down here, we can say const address, no, contract address equals contract. Get rid of the token ID parameter. I think we can get rid of all these. Everything we should be able to read from the contract. Let's save this. We're definitely going to have some errors because I just changed up everything. Yep, we want use state. Contract address, token ID. Let's see what we're missing in here. Chain ID should be contract dot chain ID. And if I go back to the button, instead of passing all, I'm sorry, if I go back to the page, close everything to the right, and we scroll all the way down to the button, scroll up a little bit to the button, we can delete everything, only include contract for contract, and that should have gotten rid of our error. Let's comment it out, save it, get rid of that red line. That red line's not wanting to go away. Delete it all together. Red line's still there. Let's undo the change, undo the comment out. No more red line. Come back into our component. As address, we'll do that casting from VM. Chain ID, what's it not liking? String or null, that should be fixed. Coming back here, string or null is not able to be identified, is not able to use. What are the parameters I have for use read contract? Is it going to tell me in here? Here's a little link. Let's try opening that up. Let's go into the docs. Use read contract, ABI, address, function name. What else? Scope key, config, block tag, config. What's the config? Scope key, query, tan stack stuff. Change this to %, or 0. Well, or chain ID. This should be fixed now, I believe. Let's see if we can get any better logs. Instead of searching for balance, we're going to look for the component name. Looks like we have missed an import. So where's use callback being used? Use callback. It's being used right there. We need that inside of our React imports. Use callback, save that. What other, whoa, why did use state? Use state, we need them both. Where's our next errors? Song URL is not defined. Let's get a song URL, comma, song name and song URL. I don't know if those are accurate. Chain ID needs imported. Chain ID, that looks perfect. Getting an error, nope, looking good there. Let's come back to try to find out where all of our errors are. Okay, that one looks fixed. I think most of them are now fixed and it's just rendering. Let's find out. We just had success on the endpoint, so we should now be able to start seeing. We've got 1,500 hidden logs, so let me try clearing those out to make sure we're not carrying around too much weight. Will this page load is the next question. Okay, I'm now seeing some data here. I see the correct address, the token ID. My address is showing undefined right now, which tells me it's not properly picking up my wallet. Do not know how to serialize a big int. For what? Args should always be address and token ID. Balance, is this being shown somewhere? Okay, what's missing from here? We're currently getting, what's the error we're seeing? We were seeing an error saying unable to serialize big int. Why would that be an error? Do not know how to serialize a big int. Let's copy this, throw it right into Cursor and let Cursor debug for me. Take this, error on page load, just send it the error. Oh, there's no export of chain ID, so it's only chain. And then down here, instead of chain ID, we go chain.id. Let's command click into this file and see if there is a chain. I do see chain, so that should be good. That should work. What's our next error? Okay, so we've still got something going on here. Update to fix the, let's see if what it identified in its Scratchpad. Implementation details, located, add stuff, download functionality, current issues. Let's add this big int serialization. Use read contract, big int token ID is being used in the query key, which can't be serialized. Convert the big int to a string in the query key or use a custom serializer. What did it change over here? Nice. I like this change. I think the rest of them I'm probably going to reject. Address. Yeah, I don't like. No, let's reject this. Nope, I'll reject that one too. And I think that's all of it. So I'm not happy with any of the changes it made. Address, and it's not like in big int here, so let's revert the file. And let's just pass in token ID. Save this and see what kind of errors we get thrown. Again, we're at 2,000 logs that are hidden, so I'm going to delete that, clear out our logs. Still saying it doesn't know how to serialize. I'm hoping that's just out data. We can see Next.js is also outdated. Let me delete those logs, please. There we go. Finally got rid of it. How are we doing on the compilation? Shows that we already have compiled the route, so we should be loaded over here. Question, how can we fix this big int error? Is it fixed on this load, or are we still seeing it? Moment of truth. Fingers crossed, drums are rolling. Breath is bated. We got an error. Is it the same error? I'm still seeing address undefined. Timeout, timeout, timeout. I'm fine with that. Fine with timeouts. Balance is undefined. Contract address. We're missing our address. So let's see what we need to do to get our connected wallet address. We were using it in a different function earlier, so let's close the others and let's check out mint confirm modal, I believe is where it was. Scroll all the way up to try to find it. Address is coming from use address, which is from utils hooks use address. So we'll take use address, come back, and instead of use account, we're going to use address. And so here we say use address, and we verify the usage is the same. Use address, address comes from use address. It's looking good. Chain ID is read but never used, so we can delete contract.chainid. Everything's looking fine. And now we're checking address. Okay, let's just save that. Stringer null is not assignable to type big int. Let's try assertion here. Assertion here. Null is not assignable. Null is not assignable. I think both of these are just null. So as long as we can enforce not null, hopefully we'll be good. It's compiling the not found page. Okay, now I see an address, and now I see a balance and a download button. If I click the download button, does it work? I think I just downloaded a new song. Looks like I just downloaded a new song. Do we get number 5 if I click it again? I get number 5 if I do it again. We've got a download button. Let's make it a little bit bigger. But overall looking good. Let's go with 8, height 8. And I don't ever want that lock. This lock we don't ever want. Oh, so let's undo those. Delete the lock. We'll keep the lock. And instead of small, let's make it large for both of them. Save it. Let's see if we get a bigger size button. Still refreshing. Okay. Let's clear out some of these logs. Okay, we see the lock icon. It's still looking smaller than I would prefer. We've got a div as long as, okay, that's only the spinner. Button, cursor not allowed, you don't own the collectible. I've set size to large. They do have size. These still look small. XL. Size options. It's going to download. There's only a large option that's the biggest. Let's make it height 10. Let's make it responsive, I guess. I want you to be bigger. I mean, I guess it has a pretty wide field, but the SVG itself is small. You know? Let's change this back to small. The size is not necessarily my issue. You know what? Yeah, the goal is to get this working. I was not provided designs, so I'm not going to overthink this. Save those changes. Hopefully the radius gets smaller. Radius is still pretty massive. Oh well, we've got a download button. And if I disconnect my wallet, the download button should change to a lock. Download button changes to a lock when we sign out. Let's push this because it seems to be working locally, and it'll be faster to debug in the cloud than it is here on my local machine. Let's debug whatever these errors are. I don't want to use cursor because it's going to be slower. Argument of type 84532 or 8453 is not assignable to type string. Type number is not assignable to type string. So we need this to be a string, I guess. To string. I mean, we should always have a chain ID, so I really don't even want to have that alternative. String is not assignable to type big int, but we were just getting that we don't know how to serialize big int. Let's add non-null assertion. This one's a big int. Let's throw a big int back in there. And now the question is, are we getting those same errors for big int serialization errors? Let's check by coming back over here, refresh the page. I mean, it looks good over here, so I should be able to just push, right? Let's remove any dev logging, make sure that I'm not pushing any logging. Copy, find, we only have one and it's right here where I'm looking. Delete any dev comments. Find // keep that one there. We already know that we want to move this all right, send that out, see if it can dry up the function. This button's already decently short. We're going to try to make it even shorter. How are we doing over here? Download file. We're going to reject all this stuff. I don't want you touching it. I've got it working. Inside of here, we're now calling our new download file function. Let's accept that. And that should be all the changes. We've got this import, and that's everything. Okay. And now I want to see the new lib, download file, URL and a file name. And let's see if it updated all the buttons. We've got the download file lib, the button that we just created, and we've already checked. The other download button that we created. And then the discover song download button. I don't know what this is, so I don't want to be touching it. Don't know what's going on here. It looks like the exact same code though. But again, this is not my, didn't touch this. I'm not going to touch it. We're going to revert this file. Make sure we get rid of this change altogether. We've updated the page to use our new button. What actually did we change here? Yeah. Okay, so I think we're good to start committing this. Let's open up our roadmap. Let's push it and get this building on the deployed version. That way, copy this, paste our message, commit, and push. Once we push, let's go to Brave and see if we've opened up a pull request. It's giving me, I don't know how to serialize a big N. Okay, so it's complaining about me using a string, and then when I use a big int, I'm being told that it doesn't understand how to use a big int. So I don't know how to fix that one yet. Step by step. The most important question, how can we get this to deploy properly and keep our changes minimal? We should get auto prompted to open up the pull request. It's right there. Finish opening up the pull request. Now that the pull request is opened, we'll take this into Slack. I think I'm going to try to update this to use, I'm going to try to update the repo to use the latest version of Next and TurboPack because the current load times on this repo are very slow. And I think part of that is because collectible success pop-up. We already shipped this, but I forgot to take a screenshot. So I'm just going to add my ship emoji. And let's start setting up this. Hashtag Coop. Paste the link for the pull request. Get my ticket. We've now got the download button on the song page. Take the link to the ticket. Put the link in here. Okay, and from here, it looks like our build might be failing. Yep, we got an error. Let's see what our error is. If you have a guess on what the error is, leave it in the comments below. See if you can guess the error, if you've been paying attention. Okay, let's click. Page, type contract, it's missing. Let's try going into our page and see what the error is. Where's our page component? It might not be open. And if it's not open, we go find it. Inside of the app folder, there's our page. Show me where the error is. Close all the other files. Here it is. Contract is missing the following types. We're missing artist slug. What is it actually missing? Okay, so these contract types are different. We want to update this one to use the same type. So our contract type from here should actually be from API types. Let me find where the types folder is. Types. Let's go back into page. Find where contract is being retrieved from. Get contract by slug, which calls API factory. Inside of here, we return contract response. Lib API types contract response, which has contract, which is also defined here. So it should be lib API types lib API types. Looks good to me. Still seeing an error here. Let me try commenting it out. See if that gets rid of the red line. Got rid of the red line. If we uncomment, does the red line stay away? Can't find name contract. That should get fixed. Okay. We have a red line here. Assertion is unnecessary since it does not change. That's awesome. We're still getting our error for big ints here, but I think we have now fixed our build error. Let's see if that's the case. I fix build error. Let's check it locally. Do not know how to serialize a big int. I really think we want to keep this as a string and then just ignore any type errors that are being thrown. Give me a quick linter fix, please. Quick fix. I don't want to fix with AI. TS ignore. Is that going to work? Is that going to fix it? Little type errors. Have it fix. Have it go back. Please add type hopefully asks me to revert. It's not asking me to revert, but it looks like it went back on its own. Oh, did I fix it now? Okay, I think I fixed it. I don't see an error anymore. I fix build errors. Let's see if that's the case. Commit, sync changes. Okay. I think we're all good over here. Let's check out our builds to see how those are doing. Okay, looks like we're building. Looks like we got a successful build now. And I've hopefully also fixed the token ID being parsed as a big error. Whoa, yeah, that's most likely what's being fixed in this build. Build was successful. Let's try refreshing the page to see if I fixed the error. Refresh the page. I see a lock icon, which tells me we have not connected our wallet yet. I'll try connecting with my Phantom. Get password. That doesn't look like my password. I don't know what I'm copying, but it is not my password. Connect the wallet. It'll ask me to sign. Do that signature step. Now I've got a download button. Click the download button. I get a download. Let's take a screenshot. Come on. There we go. Let's ship it. We've shipped 2 pull requests in an hour and a half on this call. Very slow rate of shipping, but at least we're making progress. Next up, go to our tickets. Take a step back to our main list of tickets. Copy the branch name, and let's get started. I actually don't know if I reviewed the code that I just shipped. I shipped it, but I don't know if I actually looked at the code I changed. We've got a new download button beside the copy button. We updated the existing download button to use our new download lib. We created a new download button that is used on the page. And we added the lib that does the actual downloads. That looks great. We can go back to what we were doing. I've already copied the branch name. I don't know that I used it, so let's copy it again. Copy branch name, go to Get tab, check out to my new branch, publish the branch, pull from main. Let's go back to our roadmap, close everything else. Step 65. All right. Updating Scratchpad for step 65. All right. Scratchpad is getting updated and implemented. Let's check out everything that's happened. I told it to prepare. Its Scratchpad was updated. Manual input It then searched the code base. It looked at the quantity selector, updated the Scratchpad with more info. Let's see what it's come up with so far. Currently, plus and minus. We need to allow manual typing. Existing functionality should be preserved. Validation, seamless human experience. Quantity selector component already includes input field, but it's very narrow, W10. Has validation, uses that. Usage in the UI, current limitations. Users might not realize they can enter. I've enhanced the component to make it more user-friendly. Okay. So it seems like it is already updated. Parsint would only make sense with base 10, so that's a good change. And it looks like we've added some ARIA labels, changed the styling. Let's accept this and see how it looks. Let's go back into the token page. First, let's try just refreshing the page, make sure we have the latest version compiled and running. Still compiling, but it looks like the page itself should be ready. All right. Let's click the collect button and find the moment of truth. Click collect should open up the pop-up. I'll be patient, it's still loading over here. Try it again. I don't think I need this sidebar open anymore. This will be the last pull request I open today on this stream because this amount of time to reload a page is very slow, and I could be going faster if I was not streaming. Oh, is it finally reloading? No, it just closed the side tab. Finish loading. Click collect. Connect my wallet. Let's try typing in 100. Look at that. I can now type in a number. If we click collect, let's see if it prompts me to spend 0.0044 ETH in my wallet, and that it suggests that the transaction will be successful. I'm not going to sign it yet, but I am verifying the transaction works. It's showing I'm going to get 11.0044 ETH. This looks perfect. I don't know why the confirm button's not showing. It might be more than the ETH I have. Nope, there's the confirm button. So it looks like I could totally do this. I'm not going to. So let's push our changes. That was an easy one. Let's go back to roadmap. Add an X to the box. Copy this, click the plus, paste in the description, commit, and push. We should get auto prompted. There it is. Compare and pull request. Create the pull request. Copy the link to the pull request. Share the link inside of Slack. And the ticket from Linear. Copy the ticket name, paste it in Slack, add the word ticket, go back to the ticket, copy the URL, select the word ticket, paste the URL, you've hyperlinked it, hit enter to submit your pull request for official review. Go into the replies, wait for the build, and once the build is finished, we'll send a testing link where anybody on the team can go and test on the preview before we deploy to prod. You should already have a URL. Go to /33 below, /13 de marzo. Try to go to that page, copy the link, tell everybody test here, send it. I shouldn't even need to sign in. All that I'm going to do is, well, it looks like I do need to sign in. So we'll sign in with Phantom. Hopefully it doesn't ask me to enter my password again. Connect. Confirm. We're connected. Can I do it here as well? Can't do it there. But at least in the modal, I also can't. So let's just wait until it's finished deploying. While it's deploying, I'll go through the pull request, but it looks like it's almost done. Quick review. Input quantity is now using a base 10 instead of base 1. We did some formatting and added on a title, an ARIA label to the button to make it accessible for people that can't see. Quantity input, type of quantity, looks good. Mostly accessibility changes. I think the biggest thing that fixed it was the base 10 for the parsing of the int, because base 1 doesn't make sense. Quantity of 11. Going to try to collect this. We're actually going to go through with the collection. Take a screenshot before I get too far away. Drag and drop. Quantity typed without plus slash. Let's confirm. And I've got my download song. All this is looking good. Let's get it shipped. As I wrap up, this is your last chance to ask any questions in the comments that I'll be able to review in real time. Otherwise, if you liked this video and you've stuck around till the end, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Any of the buttons that you click help support me in the work that I'm doing to build all of this code open source to help musicians get paid and allow any musician to be able to stay independent. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you in any way that you support my practice. This is going to be the end of the stream. If I don't see you again this weekend, I'll be back on Monday.